everybody, welcome back. It is Jess here with The Crazy Place, and as you can tell, we are outside in what will be one of my favorite places to be this summer, the garden. This is one of two gardens that we have. I call this our lower garden. We do have a smaller upper garden closer to the house. Today I plan on tilling up a small little portion here to get our carrots and onions in the ground. They're calling for some rain this weekend, so I want to get these in while the ground has had time to kind of dry out and it's tillable, if that's even a word. We did have a pop-up shower last night. We got less than a tenth of inch of rain, so I'm hoping the ground's not too moist. We like to till our gardens, the drier the better, to reduce the chance of clumps, because once you get those clumps, it's hard to get rid of them throughout the summer. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. I've got a couple different varieties of carrots I'm going to do this year, and the onions. I did these last year as kind of an experiment, and they did very well. We put up quite a few onions, so that excited me. I'm going to do it again this year. And we've had luck with carrots for the past couple years, so I want to put out plenty of those. Preston is a carrot fanatic. When you find something your toddler eats, and he's not a picky eater by any means, but when he goes for the carrots, I'm going to make sure I have plenty of carrots for him. We will be rotating the gardens this year. This garden down here will have the carrots and onions, and I'm going to do them on this side because this side typically holds a little bit more moisture because it gets any kind of runoff rain from the driveway. So I'm going to put those over here this year, and I'll also have green beans and corn in this garden. We will put tomatoes and cucumbers up in the other garden. If I can, I'm going to try to till up the whole garden. I'm just going to work up this one little patch and see how it goes. If anything, I want to just get those couple things in the ground, and we'll do the rest as time goes on. I started tomatoes a couple weeks ago in pots. I also started watermelon, cantaloupe, and some pumpkin last week. So I've got those going. They're just not quite ready to be in the ground yet. But for right now, I'm going to get these gardens started, and we'll see where it goes from there. So let's go ahead, get this tilled up, get some plants in the ground, and that'll be the beginning of 2020 gardening season. So this is our third year working with this garden, and one thing we tried different last year was instead of doing the rows long ways, we did the rows short ways. And honestly, I really preferred it that way. The rows were shorter, easier to work with, and I could get more of a variety together for the pollination. So I'm going to continue that this year. With the virus, it's got us wondering if we don't need to possibly expand our garden. I know we were talking this morning of maybe find another spot on the farm to put some stuff out, but what's nice about these gardens up here is the wildlife comes through but doesn't really bother any of the produce because we've got 3 labs that keep it protected. So if we do a garden somewhere else on the farm, there's more chance that wildlife will get into it. Not that that's a bad thing, but when we're trying to put it up for ourselves, that can become an issue. So I don't know, that's just something we talked about. We haven't fully decided on that yet. Now, there are mixed theories on carrots and onions together. You can read about it and it'll say don't put them together. And then you can read other sources and they say that they're fine together. From experience, last year we had the carrots and onions together just like this, only on the opposite end of the garden, and they both did very well. We had what I thought was a very productive year for the onions, and the carrots were more than bountiful. My personal experience, we've had no issue growing them together. You can do your research and maybe experiment on your own if it works or if it doesn't. So for the onions, we are going to put these 6 inches apart. I've got the rows 6 inches apart. I do make mounds or hills for the onions. I had an experience last year where I had it more in the ground, and we had a very wet summer last year, and I lost a row of onions because they were too saturated. This gets them a little bit higher so that if we do get monsoon summer again with lots of rain, at least they're elevated a little bit. Onions do like water, they like to drink, but they also don't want to be swamped. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on mounds. We'll start with the more inside row, see how far we get, and we've got another row if need be. Okay, so we have our 2 rows of onions in place. The next thing I'm going to move on to are the carrots. Now I've got 2 different varieties I'm going to do this year, the Imperator and the Danvers Half Long. My thoughts are 1 row of each, and there's a whole lot more seeds in here than that. Reason being, last year we had 2 rows, same size, because we did this same short row last year, and I feel like that was enough carrots for us. I'm contemplating doing 2 rows of each, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and get some carrots planted, and I'll see if I can't decide what I'm going to do here with how many rows of carrots I'm going to do. Let's get started. So if you've never planted carrots before, the seeds are super tiny. When compared to my fingernail, my pinky fingernail, they're really small. But there's a lot in a bag. So we've got plenty to work with here. Let's go ahead and get these in the ground. As you can tell, I've got 2 more rows strung out. I am going to do 2 rows of each types of carrots. So the first 2 were the Imperator carrots, and we'll do these 2 as the Denver Half Longs. Reason I changed my mind, this is what happens when Darren's not around to help me make decisions. With the little one coming this fall, I know that next year we will be making baby food and purees, so some extra carrots on hand I figured wouldn't be a bad idea. So even if it's more than what we typically usually go through, I know that we will use it with another mouth in the household. If not, we've got plenty of family and friends that I'm sure would take some carrots. The carrot seeds, as I said before, are pretty tiny. But when we compare the Denver Half Longs, which are these, to the Imperators, which were the other carrot seeds I had earlier, these are even tinier. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be a nice experiment this year. And here we have it, my friends. We've got the garden officially started for the 2020 season. The rest of this garden will probably be more row crops, and then the upper garden, probably some tomatoes and who knows what else I come up with at the time. I appreciate you watching. There will be more videos like this coming up as season is just starting, and this is a passion of mine. So I will bring you along on those videos. Make sure to like it. Subscribe if you're new. We would love to have you stick around. I would love to hear from you. If you're starting your garden, whether it's your first year or you've been doing it your entire life, I would love to hear from you down below in the comments. What have you gotten planted so far? And maybe what are you going to change this year, if you're going to change anything up or experiment. So until the next video, take care and happy gardening!